by a friend of mine up at Harvard, which argues that Democrats may not have a shot of regaining a majority on the Supreme Court until 2060.
And we are going to leave off there on Counterspin so that we can get into the next half of our show, and that is with the Mendocino Film Festival. I've got the director and the executive director, Angela Matano, and the program director, Herb Stratford, here with me on the show today. And I need to just do one more thing before I get you guys to come on. I have to stop this one show that's in progress. And today, for some reason, our automatic scheduler is just hanging up on us. So who knows what that does. But anyway, let me just tell, while I'm waiting for the spinning ball to stop, let me just explain that this Mendocino Film Festival is going to occur from June 1 to June 4 this year, from Point Arena to Mendocino to Fort Bragg. And today we're going to talk about a lot of the films that can be seen, and we'll recap the special events and the festival parties. And that is going to be so much fun. If you can go online to MendocinoFilmFestival.org and see all the schedule of the films and the events and get your tickets. And let's see if I can. No, that show is still going and I can't get rid of it. I'm sorry. Hang on. There we go. Finally. Got it. So good morning and welcome to KGUA, both Herb and Angela. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We made it. This is just a little different. You know, we don't normally start the show at 9:30, but I mean, with our live guests, but I wanted to make sure that you guys were accommodated. Herb, you've got to tell us the story about being in your car the last time.
Well, one of the things that I do is I'm not only am I a programmer, but I'm a film critic. I'm a member of the Critics' Choice Association. And so I do weekly radio and TV film reviews. And so I was on my way back from a radio station doing a film review last week. So thank you for the adjustment in time this week. Then I can be stationary.
Perfect. Well, we're so excited about this event, and I really want our South Coast to learn more about it because they're not as familiar with this event, even though we're not very far away. It's only an hour away up there, and we're going to have a film down here in Point Arena, or the short films. So, Angela, why don't you kick things off and give everybody an overview again of the festival and what to expect?
Oh, great. Thank you, Leanne. So the weekend is June 1 through 4, which I think you said, and Thursday night, we always have a free screening for our members who we appreciate so much. And we're going to be showing our Good Humor Shorts program, which is a kind of become something that we do every year and did not do last year, and people did not like that. So we're happy to bring it back. It's a collection of shorts that make you laugh or just make you feel good. Nothing depressing, nothing scary, just kind of a warm program. And I think everyone's kind of looking for a little piece of that right now. And unusually, we're going to also screen the short films at the Arena Theater, as you said. We did something with the Arena Theater in Point Arena a few years ago, and we haven't done anything since. And we've really been wanting to attract that crowd and show our support for that incredible theater. So that is an option. That it's not a free screening, it's a paid screening, but it's an option for people who live south and maybe want to just get their feet wet and try a little piece of the festival and see how you like it. And then hopefully people will consider coming to the regular festival over the weekend, Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and seeing another film if they like what they see. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day, we'll have films in Mendocino at 3 different venues. The festival tent, which is an incredible giant tent that Matt Rowland Events sets up for us every year next to the Hill House, right, on the edge of town. And then we have Matheson, which is at the Mendocino High School, also a really cute and charming venue. And finally, we have Crown Hall, which is the old Portuguese hall in Mendocino that we also turn into a movie theater. And then we also do films at Coast Cinema in Fort Bragg, which is great for people who in that area. And also if you just want a real theatrical experience at the movies.
As a matter of fact, at Coast Cinemas at the very beginning, I believe it's 10 o'clock Friday morning. Is it the Town Destroyer? I was just trying to look at the schedule again. And that is, if anybody.
At 1 o'clock.
Oh, it's at 1 o'clock. Okay. So 1 o'clock Friday, Town Destroyer. Peggy Berryhill is the executive producer on that. So why don't you, Herb, tell a little bit about Town Destroyer, if you would, and relevant to our listeners here too are a couple who do the Mendocino whale and seal study. That's Scott and Tree Mercer. They're here once a month. They give an update on the whale and seal population along our coast, and they're going to be on they are actually in the film Washed Ashore that's playing with Patrick the whale, and they'll be there at the festival to participate in the Q&A.
Sure. Yeah. It's always interesting to program a film festival because certain things just sort of jump up and say, yes, I need to be at your festival. And just immediately get to the top of our list of the programming team, Ann Walker and Angela and myself. And we for Town Destroyer, it was something that came in, and it was just such an important and powerful story about some murals that were done at a school, and they represented American history. And we all sort of know that history is absolute, but how we interpret history and how we feel about history can change over time. And so this mural became a real lightning rod because of its depiction of a deceased Native American person, and trying to figure out what does that mean, and are we what message are we sending, not only to people, indigenous people, what message are we sending, but also what are we saying about ourselves? And is this a work of art? Is this a social commentary? It just opens a whole sort of interesting can of worms, and what it did to the community in terms of trying to figure out what that meant, and how people came down about what side they were on. And a really interesting film that of course begs further conversation, which is the other thing that we're so excited about, is not just presenting a film, but we open this door and we want to make sure that we give people the opportunity to continue to have thoughts about it and to express their opinions about it, because this isn't a vacuum. So that's really a great film that we felt really strongly about, and we're showing it also to students, which is important for us to sort of get their take on it. So we're doing a special screening at the high school for students to see that as well. And then Patrick and the Whale and Washed Ashore. Certainly whales are on our mind up here in Mendocino, and just a really beautiful film. Patrick and the Whale is a really beautiful film about a scientist and sort of his quest to understand whales more. He sort of found a kindred spirit and really spent a little bit of time, really sort of deep dive is the wrong word. It sounds like I'm making a pun, but it really fascinating and visually just stunning, some of the work that he was able to do. And it brings to mind, My Octopus Teacher, just how somebody really became passionate about something and was able to capture something that no one else really has done. And I don't know about other folks, but I grew up watching Jacques Cousteau. And so to me, I've got this curiosity factor about the ocean, and I don't necessarily have that weekly outlet that I used to have. So we love finding these films, and then Washed Ashore as well. Basically, bringing that home to folks in Mendocino, because we do have issues sometimes with washed up animals, and we all want to know more about what happened and what can we do to prevent that. So it's important, both of those.
Right. Were they ship strikes, or were they entanglements? Was it something else? Lack of food? They do necropsies on these washed ashore whales, and both Scott and Tree are very familiar discussing it and talking about it. And that's the film. These two films, Patrick the Whale and Washed Ashore, are the ones that are at 10 o'clock. And are they in the white tent, I believe? Let's see.
Saturday, June 3rd, 10 a.m. Yeah, in the festival tent.
Great.
And there's going to be a panel with those films too that the Noyo Marine Center is sponsoring. So as you said, the Mercers will be there, and there'll be some talks about our ocean and what's happening right now on our coast. And I think it'll be a great segue from the film to sort of an immediate issue that we're all kind of wrestling with right now, living on the coast and trying to figure out how to live harmoniously up here in this incredibly gorgeous place that everyone wants to keep this way. And there's a lot of issues right now going around with us and our harbor and our ocean. And it's great to have people kind of bring it back to now.
And Herb, tell us about a couple of the other film events that you're enthused about. All of you. I mean, you're a whole programming team with Angela and Ann Walker and Pat Ferrero too. I wanted to mention her as well.
Yeah, we're excited about it. I mean, we wouldn't be showing it to you if we weren't excited about it. But one of the things that I think we're excited about this year is having so many shorts, and a lot of folks love the short films just because you get a chance to experience more than one film. And so when you come into a shorts program, you're getting multiple visions, multiple stories. It just really gives you a chance to experience more than one thing that maybe over the same period of time that a feature would be. So not only the return of Real Mendo, which of course is, films that are by Mendocino filmmakers or feature Mendocino, but also we've got, as Angela mentioned, our Feel Good shorts. But then we've got two other things, a shorts program called Three Remarkable Women, which is really interesting that we found these sort of longer shorts. And they are highlighting different women, inspiring women. Sally Schmidt, who was the founder of the French Laundry, which is just a really fascinating story. Everybody always thinks of Thomas Keller when they hear the French Laundry, but he bought the French Laundry from Sally Schmidt, and she started this and really was the beginning of sort of the American cuisine movement in America, and really the first time that things started kicking off. And we think about all these celebrity chefs right now. Well, without Sally Schmidt, there would not be probably an American film, American food movement the way that it is right now. You wouldn't have Emeril and all the other folks that came through, Charlie Trotter, everybody else. So she's one of three fascinating women in that program. But also we've got this Trip to Italy program, which is fascinating and fun, and a nice little, I think we're going to have some gelato, which is going to be fun too. But three films with Italy as a sort of a background. One is by the always wonderful Wes Anderson, whose film, what's it? I'm blanking on it right now. Asteroid City is coming out in June, and so this is one of his earlier short films that Wes Anderson did with Jason Schwartzman, produced by Roman Coppola. Really a wonderful little short film about a race car driver in Italy. That's just, we fell in love with it, and so that's really exciting to have that. Cinemari is another one of our Italian films, which shines a light on Italian projectionists who go out into the small towns in Italy and set up screens and show movies, and this is such a great throwback to you think about Italy, you think about sort of the charm of Italy, and this is sort of captures that and the love affair with cinema that Italy has always had. So a lot of, and just wonderful, so many films to experience, and we're showing these films a couple times, so you'll have a chance to catch them to meet your schedule.
And Angela, explain to the audience how people can find out more about the films on the website and the events too.
Well, we just got our program books this week, so that is always thrilling for us. And we keep them in a box outside of our office on Ukiah Street 24/7. So you can come in your pajamas in the middle of the night and come get a program book. And people really like to look through it and mark it up and cross things out and recircle them. And it's fun to see everyone's marked up program books. So that's a great way. And we're also getting them around town, into Fort Bragg, bringing them down south. So they'll be around. If you keep your eyes open, you'll be able to grab one. And if you don't get a chance to get one, you can go to our website and the program book is there and you can look through it as well and buy tickets.
What are some of the locations down here where they might be?
Well, actually, my mom is going to bring a bunch of program books. I think on Monday, she's going to go down there. So I told her to definitely bring them to the Arena Theater. That's going to be, I think, a main place that you can find them. And then maybe a few other places in Point Arena and Elk. I don't know if we're going to get down all the way to Sea Ranch.
Gualala, we're in Cypress Village and we're very centrally located. So if she wants to drop off some here at the station,
okay,
we'd be happy to share them with the public.
I'll see if I can make her drive that far. But if she is not willing, we will find someone to get them to Gualala, because of course we'd love everyone from Gualala to come. And so you can buy tickets online on your own. You can come into our office. You can give us a phone call and we'll help you through it if it seems confusing. And it's really an easy process right now. And hopefully people will want to see a few films. That's our goal. We wanted to also mention that we have Nicole Holliff Center coming. She's one of my favorite all-time directors, and she has a new movie coming out called You Hurt My Feelings. And we have that for the festival, which is kind of unusual because it's actually coming out in June, and we got it just by begging and pleading. And it's with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and it's a story about a female writer who kind of discovers that her husband doesn't really like her new book that she's working on. And she overhears him talking to someone, and it really, really bothers her. So it's kind of a relationship movie about friendship and marriage and kind of how honest we are with the people that we love. And it's just a charming, charming movie, as all of her films are. And she's coming to the festival, and we're giving her an award for her terrific direction in so many films that I love, including Enough Said, which we'll also show, which is with Julia Louis-Dreyfus and James Gandolfini, who's amazing. And then she did films like Walking and Talking and Lovely and Amazing and Friends with Money. I think if anyone hasn't seen her films, they're just a great film to watch. You know, at night, you're kind of tired and you just want to watch something enjoyable and also interesting and smart. And she's just a really interesting female director who's managed to have a consistent career, which is unfortunately still pretty unusual.
Well, going back to looking at the schedule and trying to figure out all the films, I really like the website, how it was laid out. And it is actually very straightforward as far as showing you what films are when and how you could select to just say, let's tag this. I'll think about it. I want to see how it lines up in the schedule. And then once you finalize that, then you just start ticketing them. So it's pretty straightforward. I'd like to give a shout out to, I think Shan Ricciardi had some.
We actually have a new person. We just have a brand new website that just
I noticed.
Did you notice? Yeah. So Tori Douglas of Lemon Fresh Designs in Boonville actually did our program book and our website. Shan still does some work with us on the website and helping us keep things up to date, but Tori actually designed the website, and she's just great. And we're really happy to have kind of just a fresh look and a little bit cleaner, a little bit easier to navigate, and just feels a bit more, I don't know, modern, maybe like a little new bit of a new chapter after COVID and trying to get on our feet and make everyone excited about going to movies again.
And that's at MendocinoFilmFestival.org that you can go to find out more about the upcoming festival that is June 1 through 4 from Point Arena to Mendocino to Fort Bragg. I'm talking today with Angela Matano, who is the executive director, as well as Herb Stratford, who is the program director. And they're all collaborative on the selection of these films, and the thought that they put behind the selection of these films is incredible. Ann Walker, Pat Ferrero, and this huge team of volunteers that comes together every year to put this on. And it is a lovely event to attend because you get to walk around from the big white tent up by the Hill House Inn, where the big opening night party is going to be held again, to the Matheson, like Angela was saying earlier, that's by the high school. And then there's Crown Hall. And then you've got Coast Cinemas up in Fort Bragg. And it's just a lovely event to attend. And I noticed too that you've put on the website lodging and restaurants and other things that people can check into to, maybe see where to stay and where to eat, those kinds of things, and activities too. One of the things that I love to do when I go up there is kayak on Big River. So there's lots of fun things that you can do going to this event. And this is KGUA Imwalala 88.3 FM. I'm Leanne Lindsay, your host today, and also a filmmaker and creative person, podcast creator. This is the world I love. And that's one of the reasons I support this festival every year. So thank you both for joining us today. We've got about another 10 minutes that we could recap some of the events, perhaps some of the parties and some of the films again. So Angela, why don't you tell us a bit about the events and the parties?
Okay. Well, thanks also for mentioning hospitality and restaurants, because they're big supporters of the festival. And I did want to mention that this is such a community effort. The hotels donate rooms to the filmmakers, the restaurants donate money. Almost everyone, I feel like, who has a small business in our town helps the festival in some way by donating food or money or services. And it's just such a warm feeling up here when you know that everyone is contributing and supportive. It's very different than Los Angeles, where I came from. It's a great community to come and spend a weekend with. But the parties are actually what everyone loves the most, I think, about the film festival, ironically enough. And they're great. We have a lot of local vineyards who contribute to our parties. And I think that goes a long way toward making them great. Scharfenberger pours wine at the members party on Thursday night, and we'll have popcorn. And then we have Noyo Inn donating a little small bite, which we don't usually have. So that's kind of unusual. It just makes it festive, and you feel like you're at an event that's just more than a movie, but the movie's also great. And then Friday night is the gala, and that's the party that everyone really cares about. It's at the Hill House, and people dress up, and there'll be jazz music. This year it sort of has a jazz theme because it's going to be followed by the Santos Skin to Skin film, and then John Santos, the Latin jazz singer, is going to be here with his band playing after the film. So the whole night is kind of a jazz themed celebration, really, of the festival and the people and the parties, the films. It all kind of comes together for the gala, and it's really just a really fun evening for everyone. That if you buy a membership, you get a free ticket to the gala, and it's a great way to just support the festival and also participate in the festival, meet some new people maybe that you haven't met, try a little small bite from a chef, maybe to a restaurant you haven't been to. It's really a celebration of our entire area.
That's really well put. Exactly sums up what these parties are about. The involvement of the community and all the lovely restaurants and the people that come together for this event. And Herb, let's talk about some of the other films that are going to be showing.
Sure. And, last time we talked about a number of the sort of music films that we've got, the Jerry Lee Lewis doc and the Little Richard doc, but there's some other films that we really want to shine a light on. And they're adult films. In that, I mean, they're films that are about grown-ups. They're not full of explosions, and they're not sort of some of the usual summer fare. And we're really excited about them because they're also about really fascinating characters. Like The Lost King is about the discovery of Richard III by a sort of a female amateur archaeologist who figured out where he was buried, and that was such a dramatic story. And we're thrilled to have that from Sony. Also, there's a film called Pinball: The Man Who Saved the Game, about a guy in New York who basically took it upon himself. He was a journalist, and he found out that pinball had been illegal in New York City from the 30s through the 70s when this movie takes place. And so he goes on a personal crusade to get pinball legal in the city of New York again, which is a fascinating story. Also, Linoleum, a really interesting story about sort of a small town science TV host who is starting to have some sort of strange experiences happen to him. And so it's a really interesting story about memory and family and loss, and a really beautiful film with Rhys Seehorn from Breaking Bad and from Better Call Saul. And then Jim Gaffigan is the lead in that film. And then also Living with Bill Nighy, which is just really a great film about sort of an older gentleman in the twilight of his years and wanting to make a difference in the world. And so we're really proud of these films that, sort of speak to the human condition and give us an opportunity to sit back and start to think. And we want to encourage that sort of after the film conversation. We don't want you to just see something and then forget that you even saw it. We want to change your life. We want to get you thinking about things, and we want you to, appreciate the beauty of storytelling that cinema is.
And it gets the conversation going. It gets
Yes.
people thinking about it, talking about it. And then solutions can come from that. It's one of the reasons I love these film festivals. There's such storytelling involved that it's thought provocative. But I just want to find out too about some of the events that you've tied to the films. I think when you were talking about the restaurant, the French Laundry, there's a book signing event tied to that one. Angela, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah. So Sally Schmidt, who started French Laundry's family, settled in Boonville, and they own the apple farm, which maybe some people have been to.
Oh, yes.
So, so there's a book called 6 California Kitchens, and her daughter is going to be doing a reading and signing at Gallery Bookshop in Mendocino. And we're just lucky that all came together. The film itself was put together by the New York Times. So it's not a local film, but it's all about this local woman and celebrating her. And of course, having a local connection and a family member who wants to be involved. She's also going to speak after one of the films, one of the Fascinating Women Shorts programs. So that's just turned out to be, there's always these small connections that we end up finding when we go through the process of searching for films and find people who live in the area or live in the county or used to live here. And it just really brings everything together in this very special way.
And you also mentioned the John Santos Quartet that's going to be playing too. And then there's a taiko performance. Herb, did you want to talk about those?
Yeah, so John Santos Quartet. There's a John Santos documentary. He is a Latin sort of percussionist, and so the film is really amazing. And when you think of Latin percussion, I guess the one sort of touchstone for some people is he actually was in Santana's band for a little while, but it wasn't quite the fit. So think about Santana, just sort of the vibe there. He's a fascinating character. He lives in San Francisco in the Bay Area, and he performs all over the world. He's a world-renowned and not only musician, but just sort of ambassador for music. And so having him up in Mendocino to perform after we've watched this amazing documentary about him was a real coup, and we couldn't believe it fit into his schedule. So that's super exciting. And then we thought, if we're going to do one drumming experience, let's do something, let's go completely.
I was wondering about that. Yeah.
So there's a great film by Carrie Pickett and Dawn Mickelson called Finding Her Beat, about a female taiko drum group in the Midwest. And basically taiko drumming is the Japanese drumming, which is as much drumming as it is almost performative theater. And just in terms of the way that it's very theatrical, the way they perform. And if you've ever seen taiko, if you haven't, come see the film and then stick around, because right after the screening, we will have a live taiko performance in the in the tent, which is going to be another one of these sort of just jaw-dropping experiences. I mean, that's another thing about festivals and cinema is it's really about the experience at this point, because everybody has giant TVs and surround sound in their house, but having an experience and experiencing a cultural thing like a film in a room full of people, that hasn't changed. And we're so hungry for that now after COVID. So we're really upping the ante this year and giving you unique experiences that you can't have at home. You can't have anywhere else than at the film festival. It's
true, that experience. Yes, Angela.
I just wanted to mention one thing that I think we mentioned that we're doing a free Charlie Brown film. We're working with the Schultz Museum in Santa Rosa, and I can't remember if I explained that last time we talked to you. I'm so excited that they want to work with us and provide a film for us. And hopefully this is going to become something we do. I mean, I'm hoping it'll be an annual thing, but it's going to be a free movie for families or anyone who wants to come. And it's Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown, which is kind of a lesser known Charlie Brown film about him going to camp and river rafting. It's kind of an action-packed Charlie Brown film. And the Schultz Museum is going to do a little craft after where the kids draw Snoopy ears. And I just think it's such a special event. We're really trying to work with bringing in young families and children more than we have in the past. And I think the local connection is also great. And the sponsor is Sean Leland of State Farm, and he's going to be raffling off a free bike to the kids. So I just think it's going to be a great program overall.
And what a way to tie in Sonoma County too. Sonoma and Mendocino counties are such sister counties, especially right here on the coast where we're at the junction of both counties. We're coming up on the 10 o'clock hour, but there is native cinema there too.
Angela, you want to talk about native cinema?
So we started our native cinema program last year with Thanksgiving Coffee sponsoring it, and it just was a great event. We had a few different people come and sing and dance, and we had a few different films, and it just was a great success. So we decided we're going to turn that into an annual event. And this year we have a film called Groundworks about Native American women in California, and it's just a great film, and it's going to be followed by a couple of the women in the film are coming, including one who's just a fantastic artist from Los Angeles named Elle Frank, and she's going to hopefully have some of her work around town too. We haven't finalized that yet. I know you have to go, but anyway, it's great. It's going to be a great program, and it really offers kind of a full experience beyond the film of just talking about what it's like to be an Indigenous person right now in California, Mendocino.
It's a perfect tie-in to the next show here on KGUA, which is Native America Calling, and that starts at 10 o'clock. And so we're going to have to say goodbye to our great friends here, Herb Stratford, the program director for the Mendocino Film Festival, Angela Matano, who's the executive director. This is June 1 through 4, right up the coast from us. Don't miss it. Go to MendocinoFilmFestival.org. Thanks you both for joining us today.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Leanne.
Leanne.
All right, take care. And I want to let everybody know this will repeat at 1 o'clock and it's on YouTube, so you can watch